Hi guys, welcome once again. This is a session on RPA and how we have exactly used the OIC platform and RPA together to achieve some of the business use cases. I'll be taking you through a couple of simple samples of this RPA and OIC instances. So once again, let's start. So what is RPA? In simple terms, it's an application of technology that allows employees of a company to configure computer software or a robot to capture and interpret the existing applications for processing a transaction, manipulating its data, triggering responses, and communicating with other systems. So, where exactly can we use RPA, the robotic process automation? RPA fills a long-standing gap that slowed transformation, the ability to mimic human operators for repetitive tasks. If you remember, often there are scenarios in which a human operator is still required to be cross-checking data, updating data tables, filling up the forms, and most of these operations in the day-to-day activities are repetitive, which have a specific pattern. But a human intervention is required on how exactly it can be done. Then secondly, this opens new possibility for immediate productivity gains while contributing to governance. This is mostly about RPA can automate or, like I said in the first point, mimic these activities, but through a valid governance. Like you don't want to directly go to the back end of the systems, but use the existing system platform and UIs itself with the authenticated users. Which can mimic this activity, like it can authenticate a particular user which you have provisioned, and it can do the same activity what this user would have done on that system. Thirdly, RPA robots are easy to train, don't require changes to underlying legacy system, and execute flawlessly. Yeah, once a workflow has been designed, it's pretty much simple in terms of the working from end to end. First, on to thinking about what is actually required for the coming days. So key challenges, some of the key challenges, I'm just quickly going through it. And these are some of the RPA use markets. And Oracle currently is partnering with UiPath to achieve the robotic process angle to it. And if you see the our integration platform, there is robotic process. There is something called the case management, adaptive work streams, and something for the AI. It's like the next best action decider. So coming through our OIC platform once again, we since I said we partnered with UiPath. If you see in our on the right side the entire cycle, UiPath fits in between the API management module and the process automation module, the PCS part. And this is a quick look at how what is there with UiPath. UiPath comes with a UI studio where the developers design the workflows for the robotic process. And once it has been designed, it is then registered with the UiPath orchestrator, something on the middle that you see, which has also been tightly coupled with our OIC platform. And once these are registered using our OIC platform, be it our ICS or the PCS within OIC, we could trigger these robots from the OIC platform. Now, coming to the right side, there might be legacy systems, there might be your day-to-day office applications, and there might be huge workloads that needs to be handled. So, coming right hand side, it's just one more part of it. It's like the robots can work with the human input and without human inputs, like a fully automated system. So that's what it talks about attended and unattended robots. This is a manual and a RPA thing, and how the loan processing can be reduced by a very marginal amount using a RPA thing rather than a manual person having to sit in front of the system and manually enter the fields, cross-check the fields. RPA can be automated to fill in these data and move quickly through the pages of submission. Um, thirdly, yeah, it extend the integration platform with intrusive UI scripting adapter, computer vision disruption for record and playback, emulators, Citrix, and desktops and web apps. It can work across these. So now coming, I have two demos. One is a bots process and RPA demo, which is like showing a small solution with our MCS, IBCS, PCS, and the RPA. So coming to this, if you can see over here, it works like a simple app just to demonstrate the RPA capability. So currently, I've used a system where a user can talk to Alexa, which internally communicates with our IBCS chatbot, and the chatbot actually takes the inputs and pass it over to our OIC platform, which is currently the PCS that I've used. And from PCS, using or upon the validation and authorization, it makes a request to book a taxi, and we have used the one of the taxi uh, agents over here, their web API, web UI itself, and we are trying to book a cab. So let me come back to what the conversation with Alexa looks like. So the user is gonna request for a cab, and the Alexa is gonna ask me from where do you want to book it, and from to which location you want to go, and that's it. A simple request has been placed. So once that has been placed, it comes into our PCS and then back into our UiPath where it triggers the robot to book the cab. So this is kind of the technology that was involved in this solution. It has a Alexa, it has a Oracle's intelligent bot, it has a mobile cloud service platform which comes under the and then it has the PCS and the UiPath which does the last part of the job. So now let me quickly take you through this small demo. For this demo, I don't have the MCS and the IBCS at this point, so I'm going to trigger this from the PCS side. So the starting point for this demo is going to be from a PCS where the inputs have actually come in and then how it actually places it onto the RPA. So let's just quickly log in into our integration platform. So now that we have logged into our OIC, Oracle's Integration Cloud Service platform, if you can see over here, these are the places where, so we have the book a cab using Uber app. So I'm just quickly gonna open that for you. So I'm just gonna give my office. Okay, so I'm just feeding in the input which would have ideally come from a chatbot via the Alexa, and once I have submitted it, I have not kept approval in it, but once this has gone through from PCS, you will see a robot which I have set up on my machine over here getting invoked. So that robot starts up. You'll be able to see that icon. And what I have done for the robot is like it has a workflow which logs itself onto a Uber platform and books this particular cab to the defined location. Okay, so I'm gonna submit this request, which should ideally trigger my UI Studio workflow, which should actually trigger a workflow that I've designed in the studio. Just So it executes a particular workflow that I've designed in the UI Studio. So this robot needs to be invoked. So let me just quickly submit this request. Now you can see that the process has been triggered and some instance has been associated to it. Now if you can see on the bottom UI robot icon has come up. Whatever happening now is completely from this process will be executed by the UiPath, which if you look at the bottom, a new icon of UiPath has come up, which is triggering the robot is triggering this particular workflow. Now I'm just whatever is happening is completely from the robot. Okay, it's selecting. Now it has gone into the particular website. It is clicking on the relevant items. Now it's booking me a cab. Okay, this has booked me a cab. Since this is a demo, I'm just gonna cancel the cab for the time being. Okay, so this was the first demo where we have just keyed in some inputs via the YC, which triggered the robot, and the robot actually executed a particular workflow about opening up a website, clicking on certain buttons, and giving some inputs, and which in reality a human would have done was mimicked exactly by a robot. So this is the first demo. Uh, Now for the second demo, it's about a legacy system update. So this particular scenario, there is a organization where they have just moved into the new CRM system, while the legacy app, which doesn't have any APIs as of for the since it's been a legacy system, and the only way was to manually update these records whenever a record update happens. And we have used the RPA over here to make the sync process automated. So whenever the new CRM system updates, the robot will be given the control, and the robot by itself will update the legacy CRM system as well. So if you see over here on my left hand side is my new CRM system where I might change the customer's details, and once that is saved, it comes for approval via the internal OIC platform, and once it is approved, it hands over to a robot which will go ahead, open up the legacy CRM system and update the same record as well. So in order to show this, I've used the below platforms. One is the Oracle Human Capital, so, to in order to pull some details of employees or customers. I've used some VBCS apps which imitate a new generation CRM system as well as a legacy system, and then the PCS, which is the process cloud service used for approvals and workflows, which have been used integrated into with the VBCS. And from the PCS, once the necessary approvals are received, it triggers the UiPath robot, which opens up the legacy system and updates the records. Now let us move directly to the demo. Okay, so I have over here let's say this is a mock-up of a new generation CRM system, which has been tagged to a HCM system from the backend. It pulls in all the details from a HCM system. And there are requests for certain events coming from customers, and there are also requests on updating the customer fields. So let's try updating one of these customers. So I'm just gonna go into edit mode. Let's change his location to Australia. So I'm just updating a record of this particular user, saving and closing on the new CRM system. If you can see, there are two messages. A process has been triggered and the current system has been updated. Now the process triggering is nothing but it has sent for an approval to a manager or anyone who has the rights to whether these updates should move into the legacy systems as well. So if you see, this is my dashboard for all the approvals that are required. If you remember, we just submitted something for Gilo. So yes, these are the approvals that are pending in my queue. I'm just gonna open one of these. You can see this is the new update address. So let me go and approve this. Now once approved, what happens is it triggers my RPA again, which has a workflow designed, and which is how the workflow opens up my legacy UI, legacy app. So it's right now the workflow has started, it has opened up. If you see, it is doing a search for the particular employee. It is going into the edit mode and updating this particular employee and saving it. So if you see, all this has been done by RPA without no human in touch to it. And it was automatically updated via the same platform or the UI itself without having to go from the backend. So whatever the system was provisioning as of the day, it has reused the same concept with the right authentication. It has made the update. I'll just open up. Now, right now I'm opening up the field just to show you the details of this legacy system. If you remember, we had done it for the second user. I'm just going in. If you remember, this was the new updated field that we had. So this is pretty much it. A quick showcase of how RPA, why our Oracle's integration cloud can work together doing some amazing stuffs. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, I'll be back.